Yeah, hi Deb. Hi Greg. This is Manny Marino out of Dewood Sun, um, out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm going to spend the next few minutes on this video kind of walking you through the maintenance, the assembly, the walkthrough, everything about the inlay, the engraving, and just walk you through how to assemble this chair. So, first and foremost, Deb, thank you so much for the purchase of this chair. This was a fun project to build, this chair for Greg. What's fun for me is working with my customers on the design, the logo, the placement, the stain, color, everything you get to choose, and I do it. So that's what's super fun for me. So first and first, I'll start with the engraving. So pictures and videos can never do justice until you see these live. But starting with the Greg Gull Lake 2020, that's laser engraved, right? So it's laser engraved. Then I go in and color fill it. And then here's my logo, which is maybe tough to see in the video, but just a little extra that I do. It's for Greg Love Deb 2020. So that's my logo, and I always ask folks if they want to personalize it even further. That's where that goes. But so that's the laser engraved inlay. The second piece I want to talk to you about is actually the logo itself, the wild logo. It's one of my favorite ones to do. So from a distance, people think that this is like a decal or painted on, but that's not the case. It's an inlay. I think I counted about 27 pieces. And what makes an inlay kind of unique is that if you follow the board straight across, each piece is cut from the same board, then put back somewhat like a puzzle. So again, because it's got dark, the greens and the horizon red, it's hard to see. You know, it looks like it's one entire piece, but they're actually multiple pieces put together, and you'll see that when you see that in person. But super sharp, man. I love this logo. I love this design. So there's three colors, right? There's I think they call it the wheat. That's like an off-white, the wild green, the red, and of course the yellow. The only piece that is not inlaid is the star, and it just so happens because an inlay has to start. My cut has to start or end on a board, right, to make it a fully cut piece. But because of that particular star is in the middle of a board, instead of cutting a path to get there, drilling it out, and having some odd, funky seams or whatever, it's just easier to paint that on. But that's the only thing. So that's an outdoor latex paint that I use, or an acrylic paint, outdoor acrylic paint. If it gets a lot of sun, it's going to wear over time, but that's okay. You can, what I might recommend is covering it with a polyurethane. There's a water-based polyurethane that looks very much like this. This is green because it says for exterior, but honestly, I use the interior, which comes in a blue can. I don't have I have it in the house, but you can certainly use that. Apply it to just the paint. The thing is, it does give it a shine or a sheen to it. So some people maybe don't like that, but but you can do that to preserve the color a little bit more. The entire chair is made out of redwood cedar. So that's important because that's what outdoor furniture, wood furniture is made out of, right? It's not going to rot, retain water. It repels heat. So this chair can sit out in the hot sun all day and it's not hot to the touch. That's what's nice about cedar. So everything is cedar. You don't have to worry about that. For the stain that I use, it's called a colonial maple. So here's the picture, colonial maple. Now, probably about once a year, depending on how much sun this chair gets, sun will fade away the stain, but that's okay. I mean, once a year, just grab that colonial maple and then just cake it on with the wet sponge, soak it even, and it'll the chair will come back to life. You could use a very light 220 grit sandpaper if you wanted to get kind of some of the film off and then stain it, and that's fine. Stain will also go well over these colors. In fact, you can take stain right now and go over the acrylic paint. It's not going to fade it or discolor it because they're different, right? Oil-based versus acrylic. But anyway, that's what you could do. And then for the base, the 2x6, the 4x4 seats, the seat base and the legs, that I used a dark mahogany, so just to give it that two-tone look. And I like doing that. That's a personal preference of mine because You know, this, in fact, this was outside, so, you know, it does pick up, and it rained too on it. It does pick up, you know, a little bit of dust and whatnot, and that's, you know, when you have darker legs and color like that, it hides it pretty well. Um, the other thing for maintenance wise is in the winter, I do recommend that you cover it or put it away in the winter so it doesn't, it's not always consistently wet with snow. So again, at your discretion, but I always advise to either cover them or put them away. Etsy or Amazon does sell Adirondack chair covers, I think for $30. So you may want to look at that. And it's kind of like a burlap material. It just like goes over the entire chair. But okay, so assembly, it's going to be really easy. I actually do not take this apart in front of you. I just kind of explain how to put it together, but I think with video, you'll get a good idea. So on a flat surface, the first thing you're going to put together is the base, right? So here's an example. So the base consists of the right and left 2x6 along with the spacer that's 21 inches that goes in the back. Now, you're not going to be able to see this in the video, but I will mark everything on the bottom and underneath the chair. As you're looking at the chair, it's always going to be marked from right to left, so look for those markings. So starting with the base, kind of this example here, right? Start on a flat surface and walk it up. So your Gray Gull Lake will be here, and then just number 2 all the way to number 7. Now, when you get to the number 7, and by the way, all of these take a 2-inch torque screw. A T25 torque bit will be in the kit. They're all countersunk, so all you have to do is just screw it flush to the top, and you'll be good. Right now, these are 24 inches wide. That's the width of the seat. Now, you can, in theory, because they're all the same width, you could put them out of order, but I'm going to ask you to put them in the same order because as I'm building it, countersinking them, I want you to use the same hole. So that's why 1 through number 7. When you get to the 7th one, there's going to be, it's really hard to see here in this video because it's dark. There's going to be a 1-inch gap. And before the 2x6 spacer, it's this thing right here, goes, and that's by design because I call it the tail of the back, is just going to slip right in. And then there's 2 screws here that attach the back spacer between the legs. Now, right now I have them flush to the top, but I'm also going to include sawdust in your kit and wood plugs. So you can drill these as far as you want, fill it with sawdust followed by the wood plug, okay? That's if you wish. And then you're not going to be able to see this, but I will mark in pencil where this should align, and pencil mark front and on the inside, okay? On the front and on the back, and pencil mark. So that's step number 1, is to put your seat together. The second is your front legs. Your front legs are going to be different than your back legs. Front legs go on the outside, and they have this extra support, this arm support attached to it already. The lag bolts go from the outside in. You're going to need a 9/16 socket to make life easy for you. And so that goes right, left, and then your back, right, left. And as I said, the back legs go on the outside, front legs go on the, I think I said that right, inside, outside, right? So, and then it goes lock nut, washer, it goes lag bolt, washer, lock nut, 9/16. And then another thing too is in between the 2 back legs, which you're going to be able to tell because it's got a slant, is this back support brace, right, that supports the back of the chair. This is also 21 inches. And I will have pencil mark here and here where to mark it. One thing to be mindful of is you don't bump this all the way to the top of the back leg, because if you do, it will bump up the back of this arm and it won't keep it flush. So by design, it's probably like a 1/4 of an inch from the top. But again, look for the markings, right, left, okay? So you got your seat, your front legs, your back legs. The next thing that goes on is your arms. And so the arms, again, right, left, the markings will be underneath. Again, they're countersunk to go to the front, to the flush to the top. If you don't like the look of these torque bits, which are coated torque screws, right? These are deck screws. These are fine, good hardware. They won't rust, bleed, or anything. You can countersink them all the way deep, fill it with sawdust, and the wood plug afterwards, right? So some people just don't like that look of the torque bit exposed like that, especially on the arms. I personally do, but if you wish to countersink them and use the wood plugs, only do it to the front two, right and left. I choose never, and I would recommend never doing wood plugs on the back. In fact, you're not even going to have enough wood plugs to do the backs. You're going to have two down here, two on the other side, two on the top arm, left arm. And the reason for that, because in the event this breaks or you need to get it off, it's much easier to have this exposed so you can take that out. So you do that, and then the last thing is your back. Your back is going to be one entire piece, right? So just center it. Excuse me, when you slip it in, it's not truly centered, because if it was, then this piece would actually stick out. So bump it as far to the left as you possibly can, almost touching, barely, give it a little bit of space. So from a distance, it looks a little like it's more off to the left, but in theory, it's centered to the logo. Okay, so that's what I'm after, and it's an odd shape anyway. It's a great shape, state of Minnesota. And then when you put your back, there's going to be, I call it the tail. There's going to be 2 screws on the bottom, torque bit screws on the bottom. That's to keep it from shifting. And then there's going to be a total of 6 screws that hold the back in place, right? And so again, all countersunk, just fill them in. Every single screw is going to be the same height or the same length, 2 inches. And that's pretty much how you put this chair together. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, feedback, please share that with me. Feel free to email me or text me 612-423-1468 and let me know what you think. But again, look for the markings. I'm going to take this chair apart and put it in a box and get that shipped to you and all of that. So again, Deb, Greg, thank you so much. This was a fun chair, super sharp. I sat in it a few times, had some friends over this weekend, and lots of compliments. I'm sure you will get lots of compliments. Please tell everybody where you got this chair. And hopefully, you call me in the near future to build you another one. So I'll talk to you soon. Let me know if you need anything. Thank you.